Hello, welcome to the Yip YouTube channel. We are going to be reviewing the book and just talking about the book, The Library of Ever, today. First of all, what did we like about this book?
It was very, unique, which will make me remember it more, which is good. I also like the fantasy elements of it and what types of magic they have, although it's never really explained enough. What about you?
I think that, when I was 9 or 10, this book would have been, the most amazing thing in the world to me, and I would have just read it nonstop and over and over and over again. And I think it's a pretty good book. And yeah, it was just super cool that there's just a really good world in it, and it's really big and exciting.
It's like the little girl wants to do something, she asks for it, she joins, then, someone tells her what she's swearing to do, and then everything she's swearing to do comes up and being like, hey, if you remember these things, everything will work out fine. Which is useful, but not generally how things work.
That's true. Maybe we should give, a very brief, summary so people know what we're talking about.
Okay, so basically it starts out and it's kind of a rich girl with, a babysitter that she doesn't like, and her babysitter's been dragging her around for 2 days to do, whatever her babysitter wants, really. And one day, I think it's the third day, they head to a library, and she's actually excited, and she asks her babysitter if she can go to the children's section, and her babysitter says no. She sneaks off anyways and goes there, but she can't find it, and instead she finds another area, and then there's... Okay, just random thing unrelated. This is the second book I've read where villains are wearing bowler hats.
I think that's a common thing.
Why is that common?
Because bowler hats are creepy, apparently. Basically, she just finds a hidden, enormous
hidden library.
And does loads of stuff and becomes a librarian.
Yeah.
Assistant.
And they're like, you can't read the books in here unless you're a librarian. And she's like, hey, can I be a librarian? And they're like, sure, then why not? That's fine.
Yeah, which is just the best way to get a job.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Didn't have to do an interview or anything.
I mean, I did that about selling books in a bookstore. I was like, hey, can I sell books here? And they were like, sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I did the same at a Friday market, I think. I was like, hey, can I share your stand and sell Christmas cards and stuff? And they were like, yeah, sure. And then at the end, we traded a brownie for a Christmas card.
So we kind of talked about what we thought was good about it. What did we not like?
Saying, the same thing you said earlier, I probably wouldn't have thought any of these things when I was 10. Yeah. But it seems a little bit unrealistic that everyone would be that open and stuff. And it seems kind of fast-paced. One of the scenes, it's like, hey, it's an evil guy that no one's able to notice for some reason. Okay, I'll just close the library and confront them. And then it's just, a dump of information, I guess. It's like, hey, librarians are light. That's what that means. Okay, moving on, whatever. And it's never really used, I guess.
Yeah, it is very, fast-paced.
I feel like there should be explanations that there aren't.
Yeah, I wonder if in the next books it kind of explains things and slows down a bit. For what's not good about it, she wasn't, scared of anything. It was kind of unrealistic, the character's emotions, because she was never scared.
Yeah, that's a thing, with pretty much any story. If, I don't know, an assassin's, holding a dagger to someone's throat, and the person's like, hey, what's up? You're not worried for that character, because they're not worried. And they know the situation much better than we do.
Yeah.
So she's not worried. I mean, okay, she got a little bit worried when she was heading to outer space.
Yes.
As a tiny little person. Also, her name badge kept getting much longer, and that was confusing.
Mm-hmm. In what way was that confusing?
Well, it made sense, but everyone else's name badges that she saw were really short, and then hers kept getting longer and longer.
That's true.
As an explanation, if I had to give a wild guess, I would just guess this whole thing was like a kid's dream. Because that would be very realistic for a dream.
Yes, it does seem like a dream, definitely.
It's dreamlike.
Yeah.
You got home from the second day of having a bad babysitter and had a nice dream. This is the book.
The next question was, what was your favorite character and why?
I'd say the little cat. I like the fact that all cats think that everyone's clearly there to worship them.
Yes.
That's a nice detail.
I think my favorite character is the what's it called? Who builds a spaceship?
Oh, yeah. One sec. I'll remember the name. It's that little creature that can go in space and deep underground. That's the only creature who can survive going through a black hole. I know way too much about these. Tardigrade. Yeah, I like the little section of the library to them, like dedicated to the tardigrades. One thing that doesn't particularly make sense, again, is if the ants helped build the entire library, why are there no ants currently working in the library? Because that's something you wouldn't notice when you walk into a library and there are giant ants walking around.
Yeah, well, maybe they do have jobs, but, like, they just don't like being enlarged. So maybe they have jobs.
They didn't seem to complain at all when they did get enlarged.
Yeah, that's weird. They would be very helpful if they were just huge ants.
They could be the librarians. Unless there's a very weird rule that only humans can be librarians. Wait, didn't it say that some ants used to be librarians?
Maybe, but they can't speak English.
That could be one of the future stories. Oh my gosh, that makes so much more sense if why the ants aren't currently librarians was like a topic of the new story or something.
That would be cool, but the ants can't speak English, so that's probably part of the reason. Like, they can't actually talk to people unless the people have the ant translators.
But what if there's a human translator for them?
That would be cool.
It could be like a head thing that just constantly admits their thoughts just randomly, and that's why they don't use them.
This thing is kind of getting into our next question, which is about plot holes. One of which is, why aren't there any ant librarians?
That is a great plot hole. That is also a hilarious line if you knew nothing about the book. You'd be like, because they're ants.
Yeah.
Also, if they didn't like to be enlarged and they built the whole library, would it literally be tiny specks of ants building the library? Because that's possible, but it'd take a lot longer.
Yeah, maybe there are just a lot of ants.
You need like 20 queens or something, because ants don't live very long.
Yeah.
That could be why there are no ant librarians, actually.
Other plot holes? I mean, this book's kind of full of plot holes because I don't think it's supposed to be really realistic, but also, like, why does no one know about this library? Why has no one ever found out about it and gone and, like...
I bet there's some sort of memory thing.
At the end of the book, she kind of just appears back in the regular library, and there's no way to get back, and she's just there, and it's like nothing happened.
So she fell asleep in the library?
Maybe. And then maybe all the rest of the books are just her going to the library and falling asleep.
Ha! That'd be ridiculous. Earlier. So, like, the plot begins when she's asleep still. So in the beginning of the book, she's sleeping. But if they were doing that, they would have given some hints, and they haven't done that, so it's not that. But it'd be fun in theory if it was. If you were writing that as she's asleep the whole time, you would have given some hint that she's asleep.
That's true. Yeah, I definitely want to read the rest of this series because I want to know if it's, like, purposeful, all of these plot holes, and they're going to be explained, or if it's just that the author didn't think it was necessary to explain them. Let's move on to our final question, which is, like, overall, just what did we think of it? I think it was pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed reading it. But, well, one thing that I didn't like was that every chapter ended in, like, a cliffhanger, which I find annoying. But I think...
You like it? You got it annoying, okay.
I think it was a pretty good book, and it would definitely be, like, the most amazing thing if I was still, like, 9 or 10. But, I really wonder how it's going to be continued, because I know there are a lot more books in the series. What's your opinion on the book?
I kind of like the randomness of it and how it's just people aren't thinking hard like, ooh, that person's suspicious. Like, it's not making anyone other than the bowler have people out to be a villain. And the villains are really shallow. It's a shallow book. I'm not sure why. In some ways, that's nice. Like, example being a while ago, like a long time ago, I was writing a scene in my book where the main character was being chased by thousands and thousands of mosquitoes. I have a good reason for this. And then they dove into a pond and had a flashback of something, and they were gripping to a log at the bottom of the pond with like a whole bunch of mosquitoes above them. And the scene got too intense for me to write. I just like literally closed my computer and walked away and left her there at the bottom of the pond for like the whole night. That literally never happened in this book or went anywhere near happening. It wasn't scary. Like, it'd be a good bedtime story, basically.
Yeah, I liked that about it, because it wasn't like they weren't in peril all the time. She was just doing cool stuff.
Yeah, it seems like one of those dreams that at the end of the 10-book series, the main character's gonna wake up and be like, hey, it's time for school.
What was the best thing about the book?
Yeah, definitely the cat pyramid.
The cat pyramid? I thought...
I'm not sure. It's simple, actually.
I just liked how, like, the world was just really cool, and I just wanted to go there and be in the world, because it seemed like the most amazing place.
Yeah, but you could get trapped in time and die, or evil people with bowler hats could come after you, or you could get stuck in space. You're only allowed to certain sections of the library if you're a librarian.
But it's so cool.
Okay, yeah, that book, it just like to hang out there for hours. I could probably do that if I could figure out how to navigate it.
Yes, it would just be such a cool place to go hang out in.
Ooh, this is a good question for just overall books. What, like, place in what book would be your favorite place to literally just be able to go? Like, choose a book, choose a place in the book, and see, like, out of every book, out of every scene in every book, what's your favorite that you'd want to be in?
That's a really hard question.
I know.
Definitely a fantasy book, because most non-fantasy
yeah.
Just like a house. Well, The Night Circus. The Night Circus, The Night Circus, The Night Circus, my favorite book, and it has a really cool circus in it.
There aren't actually a lot of stories where it's like a good world. Mm-hmm. But there is a certain cool magic system in a world, in a book that sadly never got published, called The Moon Path. Mm-hmm. They've got a cool, like, kind of illusion-ish magic system where the one kingdom can create basically illusions, except it's not exactly illusions, and it takes a lot of practice. And, like, in the book, one character creates a little dragon that's, like, this big, and it, like, flies around and bites someone's finger, and it feels real and stuff, but it's not. And they also literally create a person in their head. Like, they create an imaginary friend who gains personality and becomes a person, which would be very interesting. And I just want to be this, like, a little magical haven they've created, hidden behind a waterfall, where they've made the magic there stronger, and that's a cool place, and I want to go there if I could.
That sounds very cool. In conclusion, looking at our pie chart, this book is mostly good world, good funness, and also, is it a dream?
It's a dream.
Those are our big categories.
Would this be better as a dream or not a dream? Because if it's better as a dream or not a dream, like, it could be cool if they came up with a really unique area and way for it to not be a dream. But also if they dove deeper into the dream aspect and she keeps coming back to the same dream, that would be cool as well.
It would be cool, but I would be disappointed still.
Come up with some crazy random theory what yip means and please, like, tell us, because that's going to be fun.
We need to look into this mystery of what yip means.
Bye!
Bye!
Oh, and look, I have these.
I recorded that. Nice tattoos.
You're a joke. Okay. Oh, and look, I've got fake tattoos. Whoa!